What makes a real leader? Is it confidence, influence, or the ability to stay calm when everything feels uncertain? Or is it something deeper? Welcome to Growth Listen. Leaders don't chase is built on one simple idea. True leaders don't run after people, approval, or opportunities. They focus on becoming someone worth following. They lead through clarity, consistency, and character. They guide by example, not by force. In this book, you'll discover how leaders think, how they communicate, and how they move through the world without needing to chase anything or anyone. You'll learn why strong values matter, why emotional control sets you apart, and why influence grows naturally when you invest in yourself first. This is your chance to shift from reacting to life to leading it. Let's explore what it truly means to step into leadership, with purpose, with strength, and with quiet confidence. Chapter 1. Stop chasing. Start become the person others pursue. Stop chasing. That's the first rule of leadership. That's the first rule of respect. And that's the first rule of becoming someone others instinctively follow. Because the truth is simple. The moment you chase, you lose value. The moment you seek approval, you lose authority. And the moment you try to convince someone to see your worth, you've already told them you don't believe in it yourself. People pull away from desperation. They always have. They always will. Humans are wired to respect strength, stability, and self-directed purpose. We move toward what feels grounded. We step back from what feels needy. We gravitate to the person who knows who they are, because in their presence we feel more secure, more focused, and more confident. So hear this clearly. If you want attract, you must stop chasing. If you want respect, you must stop trying to earn it through effort. If you want influence, you must stop trying to force it. Leadership starts internally. It starts with you becoming a person you trust. It starts with you building an identity that radiates clarity, discipline, and self-respect. Because people don't follow words, they follow energy. They follow consistency. They follow someone who leads themselves first. You can't inspire anyone while you're running after them. You can only inspire when you're walking forward with purpose. Why chasing destroys respect? Chasing is a signal, a loud one. It tells the world, you are more valuable than me. It tells the world, your approval matters more than my standards. It tells the world, I need you to choose me because I don't fully choose myself. And people respond exactly as you'd expect. They pull back. They test you. They give you less. Because that's what humans do when they sense they have more power than the other person. You've seen it in relationships. You've seen it in workplaces. You've seen it in friendships. And you've seen it in leadership dynamics. The person who chases loses leverage. The person who overexplains loses authority. The person who tries too hard loses presence. You can stop this pattern today by understanding one truth. Respect flows to the person who respects themselves first. Attraction begins with self-focus. Leadership isn't about chasing followers. It's about becoming someone worth following. People are drawn to competence. People are drawn to composure. People are drawn to the individual who walks into a room with grounded certainty, not arrogance, not loudness, not attention-seeking desperation, but quiet, solid assurance. You build that assurance through self-focus, not external focus, not validation-seeking focus. Self-focus. Instead of chasing people, chase discipline. Instead of chasing approval, chase skill. Instead of chasing attention, chase mastery. Because value attracts. Respect attracts. Competence attracts. Self-respect attracts. The fastest way to stop chasing is to give yourself something better to pursue, your own growth. Wake up earlier. Train your body. Strengthen your mind. Improve your craft. Upgrade your communication. Hold your boundaries. Organize your environment. Set standards so high that showing up becomes a statement of identity. When you do this consistently, something powerful happens. People start noticing. People start adjusting their behavior around you. People start taking you seriously, not because you begged them to, not because you convinced them to, but because you became someone worthy of it. This is attraction through identity, not effort. A real-world example. The manager who stopped micromanaging. Picture a manager, overworked, anxious, trying too hard, always chasing performance from their team. They're constantly checking in, constantly correcting, constantly pushing for results. They think they're leading, but in reality, they're chasing. And their team feels it. The energy is tense. Productivity is low. Respect is even lower. Then one day, the manager makes a shift. They stop hovering. They stop pleasing. They stop chasing their team's engagement. Instead, they begin leading themselves. They start showing up early, not to watch others, but to master their own tasks. They start communicating clearly, not with panic, but with structure. They start handling problems calmly, not with stress, but with strategy. They set boundaries, not control others, but to control themselves. And slowly, everything changes. The team begins to emulate the manager's focus. They start mirroring the manager's calmness. They begin trusting the manager's presence. And eventually they follow, not because they were pushed, but because they were inspired. This is the power of self-focused leadership. When you stop chasing people, people start chasing standards. Why self-focused leadership works. Humans instinctively seek guidance from those who seem centered. People want to follow someone who doesn't need validation to operate. People respect the individual who can stand on their own decisions without apology. Leaders who don't chase communicate one message: I trust myself. And when you trust yourself, people feel safe trusting you. Think of the people you respect most. They aren't desperate. They aren't frantic. They aren't clingy or overbearing. They hold themselves with steadiness. That steady energy is magnetic. It makes people curious. It makes people pay attention. It makes people check their own behavior. A leader who knows their worth never chases approval. They project it. A leader who knows their standards never chases compliance. They embody it. A leader who knows their mission never chases followers. They attract them. Your presence becomes the invitation. Your behavior becomes the lesson. Your standards become the blueprint. Practical steps to start becoming the person others pursue. Stop explaining yourself. State your decisions. Own them. Let silence do the rest. Speak slower. Move slower. Decide slower. Speed signals anxiety. Calm signals authority. Stop initiating every interaction. Pull your energy back. Let others come forward for once. Build a daily ritual of excellence. Something physical. Something mental. Something productive. Upgrade your environment. Order, clarity, structure. Your external world influences your internal world. Set one boundary today. Just one. And enforce it calmly. No apology. No guilt. Become consistent. People trust predictable energy. Be the person who shows up the same way every day. Develop competence in one area until you are undeniably good. Competence attracts respect more than charisma ever will. Stop chasing. Start becoming. Every time you pull your energy back and reinvest it into yourself, you rise. Every time you choose discipline over desperation, you strengthen your presence. Every time you focus on becoming instead of convincing, you rewrite your identity. Leaders don't chase. Leaders attract. And attraction begins with the work you do when nobody is watching. Chapter 2. Authority comes from identity, not effort. Authority is not something you perform. Authority is something you become. And the sooner you understand this, the faster you'll stop wasting energy trying to look powerful and start building the identity of someone who naturally commands respect. Because real authority is quiet. It's steady. It's controlled. It's rooted in identity, not performance. People can feel the difference instantly. When you act like a leader, everyone senses it's an act. When you are a leader, you don't need to act at all. Your presence speaks before you do. Authority begins with identity. Identity is powerful because it drives behavior, and behavior, repeated enough times, becomes your presence. People don't follow your words. They follow the energy behind your words. They follow the pattern of how you show up every day. If your identity is built on insecurity, your actions will show insecurity. If your identity is built on desperation, your tone will reveal desperation. If your identity is built on ego, your leadership will crumble under pressure. Authority requires a different foundation, a foundation built on internal certainty, not external validation. You must be before you do. You must believe before you speak. You must embody before you expect others to follow. The strongest leaders are not the loudest. They are not the most charismatic. They are not the most decorated. They are the most anchored. Why effort-based authority fails? Effort-based authority is what most people try. They try to sound confident. They try to look important. They try to force influence. But the problem with trying is this. Trying exposes the lack. When you try to look confident, you look insecure. When you try to sound dominant, you sound offensive. When you try to prove your worth, you silently admit you're not sure you have any. People can smell forced leadership. It's obvious, it's loud, and it never lasts. Authority that is forced relies on volume, pressure, and over-explanation. Authority that is embodied relies on clarity, calmness, and consistency. You don't earn respect through performance. You earn it through presence. The micro-signals that reveal true authority. Authority is communicated in micro-signals, subtle behaviors that speak louder than the words you use. Your tone. Do you speak with calm certainty or frantic urgency? Your pace. Do you talk too fast, or do you control the rhythm of the room? Your volume. Do you feel the need to raise your voice to be heard? Your stillness. Do you fidget, overreact, or rush to fill silence? These microsignals are powerful because humans are wired to assess leadership subconsciously. We judge authority not by titles, but by presence. A leader who moves slowly, speaks deliberately, waits before responding, and maintains stillness radiates confidence. Not because they're performing, because they're centered. Stillness is authority. Slowness is authority. Measured speech is authority. These traits communicate one message: I am not threatened. And when you're not threatened, others feel safe. People follow whoever makes them feel secure. The quiet leader example. Imagine two people in a meeting. One speaks loudly, constantly jumps in, dominates a conversation, interrupts others, and tries to sound more knowledgeable than everyone in the room. Now imagine a second person. This one listens first, doesn't rush to speak, waits for the right moment, and when they do speak, they speak concisely, clearly, and with intention. Who do people trust? Who do people watch? Who do people secretly respect? It's the quiet one, the steady one, the one who speaks less but speaks last. A quiet team lead who says 10 words with certainty is more influential than a manager who says 100 words with insecurity. People follow grounded energy, not noise. Identity determines authority. Here's the real truth. Authority is an identity-based skill, not a performance-based skill. When your identity is built on discipline, your energy reflects discipline. When your identity is built on competence, your energy reflects competence. When your identity is built on self-trust, your energy reflects trustworthiness. People don't follow your words. They follow the alignment between who you are and how you show up. You can't fake alignment. You can't fake identity. You can't fake internal certainty. You have to build it. How to build an authoritative identity. Here is the practical, tough love blueprint for building authority from the inside out. 1. Become unshakably consistent. People trust leaders who show up the same way every day, not motivated one day and chaotic the next. Consistency signals safety. Write this down. Your consistency is your credibility. 2. Develop mastery in one area. Authority grows from competence. You don't need to be good at everything, but you must be undeniably good at something. Mastery creates confidence. Confidence creates authority. 3. Speak with intention, not eagerness. Say less. Mean more. Slow your speech. Shorten your sentences. Eagerness destroys authority. Intention builds it. 4. Hold your body still. Stillness communicates control. Control communicates certainty. Certainty communicates leadership. Your posture is a louder communicator than your title. 5. Stop seeking reactions. Authority is not concerned with immediate approval. Real leaders value long-term influence over short-term applause. The fastest way to gain respect is to stop needing it. 6. Practice delayed reactions. Pausing before speaking is a power move. It shows your mind is in charge, not your emotions. Leaders think before they respond. This is authority through emotional regulation. 7. Make decisions without over-explaining. Nothing weakens your presence more than explaining your reasoning 8 different ways. Decide. Communicate. Move forward. The more you explain, the less people listen. Why identity always wins. Effort fades. Performance crumbles. But identity endures. The leader who tries to look confident eventually gets exposed. The leader who is confident never has to prove anything. Authority built on identity becomes effortless. You don't try to influence people. They adjust themselves around you. You don't try to get respect. People offer it before you speak. You don't try to lead. Your presence makes people follow. This is the difference between chasing influence and becoming influential. Authority is not loud. Authority is not forced. Authority is not performed. Authority is identity. Build the identity of someone disciplined, centered, competent, and calm, and you will command a level of respect that no amount of effort could ever manufacture. When you embody leadership, you no longer need to chase authority. You become the authority. Chapter 3. Boundaries are your power lines. Boundaries are not suggestions. They are not preferences. They are not soft guidelines. Boundaries are power lines. They carry the voltage of your identity. They communicate your standards louder than anything you say. Every time you set a boundary, you teach people how to treat you. Every time you fail to set a boundary, you also teach people how to treat you. You're always broadcasting your standards, either consciously or unconsciously. And here's the truth most people refuse to accept. People don't mistreat you because they're evil. They mistreat you because you train them to. You train them with your silence. You train them with your tolerance. You train them with every "it's okay, you didn't mean." Boundaries are the framework that protects your time, your energy, your respect, and your leadership. Without them, you become a doormat. With them, you become a force. Every boundary you avoid comes back to punish you. Let's be direct. If you don't enforce your standards, you don't have any. When you allow lateness, you reward lateness. When you accept excuses, you multiply excuses. When you tolerate disrespect, you normalize disrespect. People will always test the limits of what you allow, not because they're malicious, but because humans explore edges. And if you don't define the edge keeps expanding until you get resentful, exhausted, and angry. But here's the twist. Your resentment is your fault because you permitted every step that led to it. Boundaries are not punishments. Boundaries are instructions. They tell people, this is how I operate. If you want access to me, follow these rules. Clear, direct, unemotional. When you set boundaries, people don't get confused. They get aligned. the boundary paradox. Here's one of the most important leadership truths you'll ever hear. When you say no clearly, people trust your yes more deeply. Why? Because your yes now has meaning. Your yes is no longer automatic. It's no longer given out of guilt or fear or avoidance. Your yes becomes a commitment, not a reaction. Weak leaders say yes to everything because they're afraid of disappointing people. Strong leaders say no to almost everything because they're protecting their mission. People don't trust a leader who tries to please everyone. They trust a leader who operates from clarity. When you say no, you establish truth. When you say yes, you confirm reliability. This is a paradox. Boundaries don't push people away. They pull the right people closer. Why leaders need firm boundaries? Leadership without boundaries is chaos. It's confusion. It's inconsistency. People follow structure, not leniency. People follow standards, not people-pleasing. People follow confident direction, not soft, vague, or hesitant guidance. A leader with weak boundaries creates a culture of uncertainty. Nobody knows what's acceptable. Nobody knows what matters. Nobody knows where the line is. A leader with strong boundaries creates a culture of clarity. Expectations are defined. Consequences are consistent. Respect flows naturally. Boundaries make leadership easier because they remove emotional labor. You no longer react based on mood. You operate based on standards, and standards build trust. The real-world example, the leader with meeting rules. Picture a team where meetings start late every single day. People stroll in 5 minutes late, then 10 minutes late, then 15 minutes late. Nobody knows when anything actually begins. Everyone is frustrated, but nobody says anything. This is what leadership without boundaries looks like. Sloppy, inconsistent, and inefficient. Now imagine a leader steps in with a simple boundary. Meetings start at 9 o'clock. If you are not present by 9 o'clock, you are not in the meeting. Not angry, not emotional, just clear. Week 1. 3 people show up late and miss the meeting. Week 2. Everyone arrives early. Week 3. Productivity spikes because structure has replaced chaos. People respect clarity. People follow rules that have actual consequences. People rise to the standards you set, not the standards you hope for. This is the power of boundaries in leadership. You make expectations predictable, and predictability creates trust. How to build boundaries that hold. Most people don't have boundary problems. They have enforcement problems. They say they want respect, but accept disrespect. They say they want excellence, but tolerate laziness. They say they want discipline, but avoid difficult conversations. Boundaries only work when you do. So here's how to build unbreakable boundaries. 1. State your boundary once, clearly, not 5 times, not with over-explanation, not with nervous laughter. State it calmly and directly. Please be on time is not a boundary. Meetings begin at 9 sharp. Doors close at 9 is a boundary. 2. Enforce it immediately. Delayed enforcement kills credibility. If someone crosses a line today and faces no consequence, the boundary ends today. Consistency is leadership. 3. Separate boundaries from emotion. Boundaries are not punishments. They are standards. You don't need to be angry. You don't need a lecture. You don't need to justify. You simply need to enforce. 4. Reduce access. Don't increase confrontation. A powerful boundary doesn't require yelling or arguing. It only requires adjusting access. Someone disrespects you? Limit access. Someone lies to you? Reduce trust. Someone ignores your standards? Remove privileges. No drama. No speeches. Just enforcement. 5. Reward compliance. Boundaries are not only about corrections. They're also about reinforcement. When people align with your standards, acknowledge the effort. This strengthens the structure. The cost of weak boundaries. Let's talk about what happens when you avoid boundaries, because the cost is high. When you avoid boundaries, you lose time, you lose energy, you lose respect, you lose opportunities, you lose authority. People walk over you. People ignore your needs. People treat you as second priority. And it all happens because you didn't enforce the power lines of your identity. The world cannot respect someone who does not respect themselves enough to set limits. Boundaries build self-trust. There is no leadership without self-trust, and there is no self-trust without boundaries. Every time you enforce a boundary, you reinforce your identity. You tell yourself, I protect myself. I honor my standards. I stand on what I believe. And that internal trust is the seed of leadership, because when you trust yourself, others instinctively trust you too. Boundaries are not optional. They are essential. They are your power lines, defining your identity, your authority, and your leadership. Set them. Enforce them. Live by them. When you say no with clarity, your yes becomes powerful. When you create structure, people rise. And when you hold the line, you become the leader others follow. Not because they fear you, but because they trust you. Chapter 4. Confidence is built, not inherited. Confidence is not magic. It's not DNA. It's not a personality trait gifted to a chosen few. Confidence is earned. Confidence is constructed. Confidence is built through behavior, repetition, and proof. If you don't feel confident, it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because you haven't built enough evidence yet. Confidence follows action, not the other way around. Most people are waiting to feel confident before they act. That's backward. You act first. Your brain catches up later. Confidence is a formula. Here is the simplest formula for confidence. Self-respect plus repetition plus results equals confidence. Self-respect comes from doing hard things. Repetition transforms effort into identity. Results reinforce belief. You can't think your way into confidence. You must behave your way into confidence. Every action you take is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every repetition strengthens the identity you are building. Confidence is not an emotion. It's the byproduct of accumulated proof. If you want to trust yourself, give yourself something to trust. Self-respect comes from doing the hard things. People lie to themselves constantly. I'll wake up early. I'll eat clean today. I'll work on that project. I'll stop procrastinating. They say these things, then break their own word, over and over again, and then they wonder why they don't feel confident. Let's be honest. It's impossible to feel confident when you betray yourself daily. Your brain keeps the receipts. It remembers every broken promise, every excuse, every abandoned plan. Self-respect is built when you do the thing you said you would do, especially when you don't feel like doing it. When you follow through on a commitment you made to yourself, you send a powerful message to your brain. I can rely on myself. I keep my word. I back myself. Do this often enough, and confidence becomes automatic. Repetition creates identity. Identity is not discovered. Identity is built, and it is built through repetition. You become what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally do, not what you hope to do, not what you talk about doing. Repetition rewires your brain. Repetition reshapes your habits. Repetition solidifies your identity. When you consistently show up to the gym, to your morning routine, to your reading schedule, to your planning time, your brain forms a new expectation. This is who we are now. Your actions teach your brain your identity. If your actions are inconsistent, your identity becomes inconsistent. If your actions are disciplined, your identity becomes disciplined. The brain believes patterns, not words. The confidence loop. There's a cycle you must understand. Action, proof, identity, confidence. Take action, even small action. Collect proof that you can follow through. Let that proof shape your identity. Then confidence emerges naturally. Most people get stuck at the first step. They wait. They hesitate. They stall. They want to feel ready before they start. But ready is a myth. Nobody is ready. You create readiness through repetition. Confidence does not precede action. Confidence is a reward for action. Why consistency matters more than intensity. A lot of people think confidence comes from big wins. It doesn't. It comes from consistent effort, not heroic bursts of energy. Intensity is temporary. Consistency is identity. Going to the gym for 4 hours once a month does nothing. Going for 15 minutes every day changes everything. Writing one long journal entry every 6 weeks does nothing. Writing a paragraph each night builds clarity. Practicing a skill once every few months produces frustration. Practicing 10 minutes daily produces mastery. Consistency matters because it builds a predictable pattern, and predictable patterns allow your brain to trust you. When your brain trusts you, confidence becomes your baseline. The shy speaker example. Let's talk about real transformation. Imagine someone terrified of speaking. Shy, quiet, avoids eye contact, avoids attention. They tell themselves they're just not confident, but they decide to challenge that belief. So they start practicing, just 10 minutes a day, not long speeches, not public presentations, just reading out loud, practicing breathing, recording themselves for a few minutes, speaking in front of a mirror, day after day, 10 minutes, no excuses. After a few weeks, they feel less awkward. After a few months, they speak more clearly. After a year, something unbelievable happens. They become influential. They speak up in meetings. They lead conversations. People listen to them. What happened? Did their personality change? No, their identity changed. And it changed through repetition. Speaking became second nature because they built the neural pathways to support confidence. They didn't inherit confidence. They constructed it. And if they can, you can. Stop waiting. Start building. You must stop waiting for confidence to magically show up. Confidence is not gifted. Confidence is created. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Stop waiting to feel courageous. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start acting. Start moving. Start collecting proof. Confidence follows evidence. Your brain needs data. Give it something undeniable. The behaviors that build unshakable confidence. Here are the exact behaviors that build real, lasting confidence. 1. Keep small promises to yourself. Don't start with massive goals. Start with something tiny. Many commitments build massive self-trust. 2. Practice uncomfortable tasks daily. Do something difficult every day. Build proof of resilience. 3. Track your wins. Your brain forgets progress. Your job is to remind it. 4. Eliminate the phrase, I can't. Replace it with, I can learn this. Your brain responds to instructions. 5. Repetition over perfection. Do it poorly. Do it awkwardly. Do it inconsistently. But do it again tomorrow. 6. Surround yourself with disciplined people. Confidence is contagious. So is laziness. The confidence you want already exists in you. You don't need more potential. You need more proof. You don't need more talent. You need more reps. You don't need to change who you are. You need to change what you repeatedly do. Everything you want, discipline, self-respect, belief, certainty, comes from one simple practice. Show up today, tomorrow, the next day. No drama, no excuses, no negotiations. The person you admire, the confident version of you, is not a fantasy. It is the inevitable outcome of repeated action. Confidence is not something you chase. It's something you build, brick by brick, repetition by repetition, promise by promise. You are not missing confidence. You are missing evidence. Start gathering it now. Chapter 5. The silent traits that make people trust you instantly. Trust isn't built with grand speeches. Trust isn't built with charisma, charm, or clever words. Trust is built quietly, slowly, consistently, through small, repeated signals that tell people exactly who you are without you ever needing to announce it. Most people misunderstand trust. They think trust is earned through being impressive, but impressive is temporary. People forget charisma. People forget excitement. People forget surface-level charm. What they never forget is how you made them feel when things got difficult. They never forget if you were calm or chaotic, prepared or panicked, steady or unstable. The truth is harsh. People trust ability more than talent. People trust consistency more than confidence. People trust quiet reliability more than loud charisma. This chapter reveals the silent traits that make people follow you instinctively without you needing to push, chase, or persuade. Consistency over charisma. Charisma might open a door. Consistency keeps it open. Charisma might win attention. Consistency wins loyalty. Charisma might get applause once. Consistency earns respect for a lifetime. You don't need to be entertaining to lead. You need to be predictable. People follow those they can count on. People follow those who show up the same way every day. Not mood swings, not emotional outbursts, not erratic decision-making. Look at any powerful leader. They are consistent. Their mood isn't a guessing game. Their standards don't change day to day. Their expectations don't shift based on how they woke up that morning. Consistency creates psychological safety, and psychological safety creates trust. When people know how you will show up, they can relax, they can focus, they can perform, and without realizing it, they follow. The person who is consistent becomes a person others orbit. Reliability forms your leadership aura. Reliability is a force field. It is silent authority. It is effortless influence. When people know you follow through, your presence does something powerful. It reassures them. It stabilizes them. It grounds them. Reliability says, you can breathe around me. You're safe to execute. You're safe to trust me. Leadership aura isn't mystical. Leadership aura is built through repeated follow-through. When you say you'll deliver, and you deliver, you create a subconscious contract with everyone around you. I am dependable, and dependable people rise. Always, in every environment, in every industry, in every relationship, because reliability is rare. And anything rare becomes valuable. Most people overpromise and underdeliver. Most people say yes too fast. Most people fail to follow through. So the person who simply does what they said they'd do becomes a standout immediately. No volume needed. No theatrics needed. Just consistent reliability. The silent language of trust. Trust is mostly nonverbal. It's built through microsignals. Here are the ones that matter. Your tone. Calm beats loud. Measured beats rushed. Steady beats emotional. Your timing. Showing up on time signals respect. Delivering on time signals competence. Responding on time signals reliability. Your presence. Stillness communicates confidence. Fidgeting communicates insecurity. Being grounded communicates authority. Your reactions. How you respond to pressure tells people who you truly are. A calm mind under stress signals strength. A controlled emotion signals mastery. A composed posture signals leadership. These small signals accumulate. They form the unspoken message people receive from you. You can trust me. This message is invisible, but deeply felt. and incredibly powerful. Stability is a leadership superpower. Let's be blunt. People are tired. People are stressed. People are anxious. People are overwhelmed. They're not looking for a superhero. They're looking for stability. Stability is more valuable than brilliance. Stability is more valuable than strategy. Stability is more valuable than experience. When someone can remain steady when others are spiraling, they automatically become the anchor. Humans gravitate toward anchors. Humans trust anchors. Humans lean on anchors. Because when everything is shaking, the stable person becomes a leader by default. This is why calmness is not soft. Calmness is not passive. Calmness is not weak. Calmness is strength under control. Calmness is confidence without noise. Calmness is authority without force. Chaos is loud. Strength is quiet. The crisis example. Think about a real crisis moment. A company outage. A financial emergency. A medical scare. A family conflict. In these moments, something fascinating happens. The loudest person disappears. The dramatic person freezes. The charismatic person becomes irrelevant, but the calm person rises. Instantly, a leader steps forward not because they shouted, but because they stayed composed while others panicked. People watch them. People listen to them. People trust them. Why? Because stability is priceless in chaos. The person who remains centered earns loyalty that lasts for decades, not because they were perfect, but because they were steady. This is why the quiet leader during a crisis becomes unforgettable. They become the one people follow without hesitation, because they prove something rare. I don't collapse under pressure. That is leadership in its purest form. The behaviors that build instant trust. If you want people to trust you quickly and deeply, adopt these behaviors. 1. Keep your emotional energy stable. Don't be volatile. Don't be unpredictable. Steady emotions signal strength. 2. Follow through on small commitments. Return messages when you say you will. Finish tasks on the deadline you set. Model reliability. 3. Show up the same way every day. Not perfect, not robotic, just consistent. 4. Be the calmest person in the room. Speak slower. Breathe deeper. Think before reacting. 5. Reduce drama. Increase clarity. No gossip. No emotional storytelling. Just clear, decisive communication. Why these traits work immediately. People are biologically wired to trust stability. The human nervous system scans constantly. Is this person safe? Can I depend on them? Do I know what to expect from them? If the answer is yes, trust forms automatically, not through speeches, not through charisma, not through persuasion, through predictability. Consistency creates safety. Reliability creates confidence. Calmness creates authority. Combine these three, and people trust you without effort. You don't need to impress people to lead them. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the loudest. You don't need to be naturally charismatic. You only need to be someone people can rely on. Trust is built in silence. Respect is built through discipline. Leadership is built through stability. Become the calm one. Become the consistent one. Become the reliable one. And watch how quickly people gravitate toward you. Your silent traits will speak louder than any words ever could. Chapter 6. Emotional Control, the Ultimate Leadership Advantage. Emotional control is power. Not loud power. Not flashy power. Not arrogant power. But quiet, unshakable, undeniable power. People trust the calmest person in the room. People follow the person who doesn't flinch. People defer to the one who can regulate themselves when the stakes are high. Anyone can lead when everything is easy. Real leadership begins the moment things get difficult. And in those moments, the person who remains calm becomes the authority. Instantly, Your ability to control your emotions is the foundation of your influence. It signals strength. It signals clarity. It signals safety. People are drawn to that combination like gravity. This chapter will show you exactly why emotional regulation is your most lethal advantage and how to build it. Your reactions define you. You're judged on your reactions far more than your actions. People remember how you handle pressure. People remember how you respond to bad news. People remember whether you stay composed or fall apart. Every emotional outburst chips away at your authority. Every complaint cheapens your presence. Every moment of panic makes people question your leadership. Your reaction is your reputation. If you crack under minor stress, people assume you'll collapse under real stress. If you explode over small frustrations, people assume you can't navigate big challenges. If you show insecurity when challenged, people assume you'll crumble when confronted. This is not fair, but it is reality. And great leaders embrace reality, not excuses. Emotional control is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about staying centered long enough to make clear decisions. Why people trust the calmest person in the room. Humans are biologically wired to look for signals of safety. We scan faces. We scan tones. We scan energy. We are constantly asking, who here is stable? Who here is thinking clearly? Who here can I anchor to? The calmest person becomes the answer. Every time. Calmness is a leadership magnet. Calmness is competence made visible. Calmness is confidence expressed without ego. When chaos rises, calmness communicates, I can handle this. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm in control of myself. And people trust a person who can control themselves because that person can control a situation. Calmness creates authority. Authority creates influence. Influence creates leadership. You don't need to shout. You don't need to dominate. You don't need to demand obedience. You only need to regulate your emotions better than anyone else. The physiology of leadership. Emotional control is not mystical. It's biological. When you regulate your breathing, your nervous system stabilizes. When your nervous system stabilizes, your decision-making improves. When your decision-making improves, your leadership looks effortless. A stable nervous system is a competitive advantage. Most people have no control over their internal state. They're reactive. They're impulsive. They're emotionally fragile. You're different, or at least you're about to be. Silence is a power move. In high-pressure situations, the most powerful tool is silence. Silence is composure made visible. Silence is control in action. Silence unnerves the emotionally weak. In negotiations, the person who stays silent longer usually wins. Why? Because silence creates pressure for the other person to break first. And the one who breaks first loses leverage. In conflict, silence gives you time to think instead of reacting. Time to evaluate instead of explode. Time to choose wisdom instead of emotion. In leadership, silence allows your words to carry more weight. When you speak less, your voice gains power. When you pause, people lean in. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is dominance without aggression. Stopping emotional leakage. Emotional leakage is when your frustration, fear, insecurity, or anxiety spills into a room without you realizing it. Your face shows it. Your tone shows it. Your posture shows it. Leaders eliminate emotional leakage. Here are the common leaks to kill immediately. 1. Sighing loudly when stressed. Signals overwhelm. 2. Eye-rolling or micro-expressions of annoyance. Signals immaturity. 3. Raising your voice to compensate for insecurity. Signals weakness. 4. Rush talking when nervous. Signals loss of control. 5. Dramatic storytelling about challenges. Signals instability. Your emotional leaks tell people everything about your internal state. And people trust a person with the most regulated internal state. The crisis example. Imagine a crisis moment. The team is panicking. The clock is ticking. The stakes are high. People are talking over each other. People are predicting disaster. People are reacting emotionally. Then one person steps forward. They are calm. Their breathing is slow. Their voice is steady. Their posture is grounded. They ask the right questions. They cut through noise. They keep everyone focused. And instantly, everyone listens. Everyone follows. Everyone relaxes. Not because they shouted. Not because they blamed. Not because they acted tough. But because they stayed composed. Calmness becomes command. Stability becomes strength. Presence becomes power. This is why calm leaders during a crisis earn lifelong loyalty. People never forget the person who stayed steady when they were spiraling. How to train emotional control daily. You can build emotional control the same way you build muscle. Deliberately, repeatedly, consistently. Here's the training regimen. 1. Practice controlled breathing during stress. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Repeat until your mind sharpens. 2. Speak slower than you feel. Your tone follows your pacing. Slow equals stable. 3. Pause before responding. A 2-second pause prevents 10 minutes of regret. 4. Remove emotional words from your vocabulary. No disaster. No meltdown. No catastrophe. Speak factually, not dramatically. 5. Treat emotional triggers as training. Annoying people are practice. Unexpected problems are practice. Delays are practice. Every irritation is an opportunity to strengthen your composure. 6. Rehearse calmness before big events. Visualize the stressful moment. Visualize your controlled response. Your brain follows your rehearsal. Emotional control creates predictability. When people can predict your behavior, they trust you. When people can trust your behavior, they follow you. Unpredictable leaders repel loyalty. Stable leaders attract it. The person who stays composed becomes a person others depend on. The person others depend on becomes a leader. This is the hierarchy of emotional mastery. This is the foundation of authority. Be the emotional North Star. In every room you enter, someone is the emotional thermostat. Someone sets the tone. Someone dictates the emotional energy. Let that person be you, not by force, not by intimidation, but by regulation. Your calmness becomes contagious. Your composure becomes a standard. Your stability becomes the anchor others cling to. This is leadership. Not noisy, not flashy, not performative, but centered, consistent, controlled, powerful. Emotional control isn't the final skill of leadership. It is a skill that makes all other skills effective. Be unshakable. Be grounded. Be the calmest presence in every room. And watch how fast people begin to follow your lead. Chapter 7. Lead without asking. Influence through presence and standards. Leadership isn't a title. It's not a speech. It's not a motivational quote taped to your laptop. Leadership is a standard, a lifestyle, a way of moving through the world that silently commands excellence from everyone around you. You don't ask for respect. You don't negotiate for influence. You embody it. People don't follow what you say. They follow what you tolerate, what you prioritize, and what you model. And the truth is simple. Your presence teaches people how to show up. Your standards speak before you do. Walk into any room, and your standards arrive first. Your energy hits before your voice. Your posture communicates before your first sentence. If you walk in rushed, chaotic, scattered, people treat you as someone who reacts, not someone who leads. If you walk in calm, composed, focused, people instinctively adjust to your tempo. Humans are wired to sync with the strongest emotional signal in the room. If your signal is clarity, you become the anchor. If your signal is noise, you become part of the problem. Leadership starts with owning your state, not sometimes. Every day, every room, every moment you're visible. Influence comes from who you are when no one's watching. You can't fake leadership. You can't craft a persona that collapses as soon as stress hits. You can't talk about discipline and then live undisciplined. People notice. People feel it. People sense the disconnect. Influence comes from internal congruence. When your actions align with your values, when your habits mirror your ambitions, when your lifestyle reflects the expectations you place on others. If you want people to follow you, ask yourself, would you follow you? Not the version you post online, not the version you present in meetings, the real one, the one behind the scenes. That version is the one people trust or don't. People rise or fall to the level of your standards. Here's a leadership truth most people never learn. People don't rise to your expectations. They rise to your presence. Your presence is a pressure, a force, a gravitational pull. If your standards are strong, punctuality, preparation, ownership, the people around you align with them. If your standards are weak, excuses, lateness, inconsistency, the people around you settle into that softness. Your environment is always adjusting to you. Every day, every moment, whether you're intentional or not. So the question becomes, what are you calibrating people to? A leader with low standards creates a culture of dependency. A leader with high standards creates a culture of excellence. And you don't raise standards by lecturing. You raise them by living them. Your lifestyle is your leadership. The most powerful form of influence is invisible. It's the daily choices people watch you make. It's the discipline you practice without announcing it. It's the consistency you maintain without asking for applause. When you prioritize your health, your team respects your discipline. When you prioritize clarity, your team respects your decisions. When you prioritize preparation, your team respects your execution. You teach people what's important by what you refuse to compromise. If you work out at 5 a.m., people see commitment. If you show up prepared, people see professionalism. If you stay calm during chaos, people see stability. And here's the paradox. The more disciplined your lifestyle becomes, the less you need to lead. People simply align with you. Influence without asking. Influence is not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself so effectively that others realign themselves in your direction. A leader who speaks less but lives more is far more impactful than the one who gives speeches while living out of alignment. Influence comes from quiet power, quiet commitment, quiet standards. When you walk into the gym consistently, people follow. When you manage your time intentionally, others respect your schedule. When you handle conflict without drama, people imitate your composure. You don't need to say, do better. Your behavior says it for you. The law of unspoken leadership. Here's the law. People mirror the strongest identity in the room. Not the loudest, not the most qualified, not the one with the most credentials. The one with the strongest identity, the clearest standards, the most unwavering sense of self. That's why your identity is your greatest tool. Your habits shape your identity. Your identity shapes your presence. Your presence shapes your influence. You cannot fake this. You cannot shortcut this. You cannot act like a leader long term. You must become one. Example, leadership through lifestyle. Picture this. You have two leaders on a team. Leader A talks constantly about discipline, commitment, and performance, but they're late to meetings, overwhelmed, and inconsistent. Leader B rarely gives big speeches. They show up on time. They're steady. They walk in with clarity. They stay calm during pressure. Guess who people follow? Leader B. Every time. Why? Because consistency builds credibility, and credibility builds influence. When a leader prioritizes health, focus, and stability, the team naturally rises, not because they were told to, because they were inspired to. That's influence without asking. That's leadership in its purest form. What you must do starting now. Stop trying to convince people you're a leader. Start living like one. Here's your blueprint. 1. Set a daily discipline standard. Pick 3 non-negotiables. Sleep, training, reading, journaling, planning. Anything that reinforces your identity. 2. Protect your time. If you treat your schedule casually, others will too. 3. Speak less. Mean more. When your words are infrequent, intentional, and backed by action, they hit harder. 4. Build a calm presence. Slow your speech. Relax your shoulders. Breathe thoughtfully. People trust steady more than loud. 5. Model consistency above all. No breaks in character. No performance mode. Live the standard daily. 6. Let people adjust to you. Don't chase approval. Don't dilute your standards. Hold the line and watch others rise. The core insight. Leadership is not something you claim. It's something you prove, not through words, but through your way of living. When your lifestyle is disciplined, your presence is powerful. When your presence is powerful, influence is effortless. When influence is effortless, you don't need to ask for respect. People give it freely. Led without asking. Led by being the example everyone else calibrates to. That is true leadership. Silent, steady, unshakable. Real leadership comes from clarity, calmness, and the confidence to stay grounded in who you are. If you focus on becoming someone worth following, the right people and the right opportunities will naturally align with you. There's nothing to chase when you're already leading from within. As you move forward, carry these ideas with you. Practice them in small ways. Let them shape how you think, how you respond, and how you show up every day. Leadership grows slowly, but it grows deeply. Thank you for listening. If this audiobook added value to your journey, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Growth Listen. Your support helps more people grow alongside you. Keep learning, keep leading, and keep becoming the person others are inspired to follow.